Tecia Pennington is back, and Tecia, a lot has changed in your life since we last saw you compete in the Octagon. I know you were targeting an April return, very close with May being this weekend in St. Louis. So how does it feel to be back, first off?
Haven't really felt it yet because yesterday we got in a little late, so I didn't really get to like sign posters or anything. I just checked in, signed my contract. But to be here is exciting. I know that this weekend brings a lot more excitement. But I think it'll start being surreal again when I see my opponent.
I did see on Instagram you're already on weight. So are you basically like walking around on weight at this stage? I know that, I don't know if you're still breastfeeding, but I know that when you have a baby, that can take the weight off pretty quickly.
No, I stopped when I was 6.5 months, honestly. Not because I wanted to. I think I just got too lean too quick, and I literally had nothing to give her anymore. So I had to start giving her formula. But yeah, it's so weird. Like, I wasn't a big strawweight before. I walked 121, was right before I got pregnant. And yeah, I'm walking 116, 117 right now. So it's really weird, but yeah, I'm not complaining.
So is this like the lightest you've walked around in like 10 years sort of thing in terms of your walk around weight?
Yeah, the last time I walked under 120 was like more than that in college. I was 118. So since then, when I lived in Florida, I weighed like 125. In the last like 7 years living in Colorado, I don't know, from the altitude, I'm just eating a little better. I'm like 120.
You've got to start lobbying for an atom weight division in the UFC.
I mean, if they had it, I probably would reign in it, but it's all right. We'll still take on these strawweights.
Well, it's great to have you back in the UFC. And like I mentioned, so much has changed in your life. Of course, you had your child, Alea, 11 months ago. Raquel, of course, has ascended to becoming the UFC champion. So tell me, what have these 2 years been like for you, just to see all of these great changes and blessings in your life?
In the beginning, it was hard to be honest with you. When I lost my last fight with Mackenzie, I knew if I lost it, I was going to try to have a baby. With IVF, you never know, and with just trying to have a baby, you never know if it's going to happen or when it's going to happen. Um, Even though I thought I won that fight, but nonetheless, Alea came out of it, so it's great. It was hard because sitting back and watching Raquel do what I love, obviously I'm supporting her and I want her to do well, but it like hurt. Like the first few times I went to the gym, I honestly cried because I was like, man, I can't do it in the way that I want to do it anymore, but I'm doing something for our family right now. But at the end of the day, obviously it was beautiful. Alea's the best. I love being a mom. Raquel's an amazing mom. And then watching her go through her camp and obviously achieving the ultimate goal that we all have when we enter this sport, it just motivated me even more. And then my daughter, of course, motivates the crap out of me.
Yeah, I mean, her journey just generally is a very difficult one to achieve. Her record has been up and down at times. She's been in the UFC, what, 12 years, something along those lines at this point in time. To be able to achieve that over the age of 35, which is also an accolade for the smaller weight classes, is really, I think, something that people don't talk about enough.
Yeah, I mean, when you say over the age of 35, she's 35. So, but actually, that when we saw like that little stat, she just started laughing. But yeah, we are, vets of the sport at this point, and she's been in the UFC nearly 12 years, and me 10 years, or her 11, sorry, me 10 years. To achieve that goal after so long, it just made it even better.
Now let's talk about you coming back after 2 years' time. How do you feel? Do you feel any different from when you had last fought, compared to now?
We'll see Saturday night in terms of the fight, but yeah, coming back, it was definitely difficult. Mobility was a big thing this fight camp, and cardio. I would say those are my two biggest obstacles. Um, at first, like my hips were really, really difficult to like get my kicks going, and I'm really big into like kickboxing. I come from karate, so that was tough. And then the cardio at one point, like I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. My cardio wasn't where I wanted it to be, but by the end of camp, it all came together. I listened to my coaches. I did, my mental and physical training, and it's all come together. I'm just excited to see what my body, what my mind, what I'm able to do this Saturday, because in my mind, it's so much. So I'm hoping that it plays that way.
And how do you like the opponent? Tabatha is obviously a very similar frame to you. Somebody who a lot of people would say probably has to take you down in order to win this fight. And you've won so many fights like that where you have opponents where they're like, if she gets the takedown, she'll potentially be able to win, but it's been so much easier said than done against an opponent like you who's been so good historically at stuffing takedowns.
Yeah, I liked the matchup right away. Like you said, we are similar in structure. I think it's gonna be a fun fight. I think she's pretty fast too. Not quite as fast as me, but I think that'll just make for a fast-paced fight. And I definitely would imagine her goal is to take me down. But my style is definitely different than anybody she's fought before. And in terms of experience and I guess overall game knowledge and as great as I am, I think I'm her most skilled opponent to date. So it's going to be a fun test for both of us.
I saw an interview that you and Raquel had done where you talked about how you probably have about 2 or 3 years left for both of your careers. You look at the ages, you're 34, she's 35, that makes a lot of sense. And of course, you mentioned you want to grow your family. So what do those last 2 to 3 years of your careers look like in terms of how many fights you want to have, what the goals are, what are you looking to achieve in that time, and is there kind of an end date that you have in mind for both you and Raquel? Are you guys both aligned on that?
We both know what we want in general. It kind of is up in the air depending on how things go with fights. But for me, ideally, I'd like to fight at least twice a year. That's what I've been doing now. 3 times a year would be awesome, but with the UFC, it's kind of hard sometimes to get 3 fights a year, especially when you are within that top 10, top 15. To get fights like that. At least that's been in my experience. So yeah, 2 to 3 fights I'd like a year, and then obviously I want to go for the title. Like the fight last time, like I said, I thought I won, even though I didn't win on paper or whatever. I still believe I have everything it possesses to win and beat these girls at the top and get my title shot one day. Like I've been in this so long, and I fought all the champions already, and I'm the only one to fight all the champions. Granted, those are my losses, but they weren't like nobody has stopped me. Nobody has, bloodied me up, made me nasty or anything. It's just been a technicality thing. They were either a better striker that night or were able to keep me down or whatnot. But I feel like I have what it takes to become the champion one day, and that's my ultimate goal still.
Yeah, I've got to give a shout out to my colleague Dan Tom at MMA Junkie. He does a lot of the fight previews, and whenever he talks about the judges burning him, he says the fight between you and Mackenzie is like the one that makes him the angriest because he's like, they don't value the body work. She was landing the more effective strikes. She was landing the more impactful strikes. Mackenzie was just winging her shots. For whatever reason, that fight still, like, to this day burns him that you didn't get the decision there. And I'm sure for you it's even worse because you were in the fight.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously the second round I clearly lost. It was all jiu-jitsu, but man, little old me was able to stop everything she had jiu-jitsu wise. So that was a win there for me. But like I said, having my daughter now, it was worth, I guess, that little split decision loss, and I'm more motivated. And I'm just looking forward to Saturday.
Yeah, like perhaps if you won that fight, you wouldn't have had the same set of circumstances that led to you having Alea. So, I mean, sometimes things have a way of sending their messages to you.
Yes, exactly.
But at the same time, in your mind, you're on like a 4-fight win streak, which is also great.
Yeah, but everything happens for a reason, and Saturday is going to be my night, and I'm going to prove to myself and prove to a lot of people that I'm still meant to be here.
You fought so many of the top fighters in strawweight history. Is there anybody that you have on kind of on your bucket list that you would like to face before you call it a day in a couple of years from now?
To be honest, I've fought everybody who's been the best of the best, I think, in this division. From the vets to the new girls. So it really doesn't matter. I just want to make my way to the belt, and whoever that means I have to face next will be the one I face next.
And how many fights away do you believe that you are realistically from a championship? I mean, if you get a win over Ricci, you're going to be ranked, of course, on Tuesday. So how far away do you believe that to be in terms of getting another title shot? Or getting, a title shot, generally?
Okay. It just depends on who they give me next, to be honest with you. If like I was able, well, when I beat Ricci and I'm able to get like, if I got a top 5 opponent, I could tell you maybe in 3 fights. If it's not a top 5 opponent and somebody in the top 10, still maybe 3. At the most 4, I'm going to say, like, I think with 3 good wins, I should be able to get to the title for sure. I think 4 would be pushing it a little bit. I think if I can go out, put a great show on with Ricci, get 2 more great opponents, I could see that happening. The only way realistically, otherwise, maybe having 2 wins would be like me knocking them out or submitting both of them or something like that, like really shutting down and saying, like, hey, I deserve this. But before having the baby, it was weird because I was number 7, and in my opinion, the girls who've had children were never taken out of the rankings. So I was taken out of the rankings completely. I didn't know if they'd put me back in. They have not. Ricci's 11. I think realistically, when I beat her, I should go back in as number 8. In the way that things have gone and how the rankings stand right now, we'll see what Monday brings, and we'll see what Saturday brings, obviously. But I think after this fight, I should be 8.
Yeah, that is weird. Like Jose Aldo's a great example of that. He gets the win this past weekend against Martinez. Like, where was he ranked when he retired? Like, I'm sure it's higher than he's ranked today,
Yeah.
but they don't take that into consideration when they're putting people back into the rankings.
Yeah, but we'll see because I just think in terms of the overall wins and who I've beat and stuff like that, that would just make the most sense. But if it is 11, it's 11, whatever. Anyways, I need to make my way to the top.
Well, I'll tell you this, Tecia. When you win on Saturday, I will be quick to point out that you were ranked number 7 before they pulled you from the rankings. So I've got your back on this one, and I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for doing this. Welcome back to the UFC after a couple great years on a personal level. We're looking forward to seeing you do more great things on a professional level. Appreciate your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.